there was very little stunt work in it, so he was the guy who wore the costume. The helmet and mask were made for and used on screen in The Empire Strikes Back. And the rest of the costume, except for the gloves, the boots, and of course the lightsaber, were made by ILM in Marin County as part of an appearance costume. So they had a favorite actor that they usually used, but they would only do very important events, you know, like Burger King opening, Toys R Us 10% off sales. In other words, whoever paid got Darth Vader. So, yeah. And the Obi-Wan costume actually was made by Disney for James Arnold Taylor. He wore it at, I think, about 4 or 5 Star Wars weekends where he was the host, and at least one celebration. And James wore it for our grand opening in November of 2011, and at that time said, when I am finished using this, I am donating this to Rancho Obi-Wan. True to his word, last fall, it came here, and we love having it. In this case, we've got some, his dental bills are just outrageous. These are original masks from the molds for the Cantina creatures, the Duros, which George loved so much that he became Cad Bane in the Clone Wars. These are unused hands from back in 1976, 77, with the with the stuff still in between that needs to be cut out. The given was a background Cantina creature based on the famous painting and screen. And this is more recent. The Snaggletooth mask was made by a friend of mine called Tom Spina, because I helped get him the job of doing the Volkswagen commercial for the 2012 Super Bowl. So the one from 2011 we all sort of remember was the kid in the Darth Vader costume, and he thought he was using the Force on his dad's new Volkswagen Passat. Really, of course, Dad was using the remote. The one in 2012 was a little weirder. It was a regular Volkswagen commercial, and then the camera pulled back, and it turned out you were watching that on a flat screen TV in the Cantina. But whatever. So Tom made a bunch of these masks, and as a gift and a thank you, he made me a Snaggletooth. This, however, is the real crotch of a bounty hunter from Empire Strikes Back, Forlom. Don't ask me how I got it. Weird story. But Forlom was named by ILM and stands for the love of money. So, yeah. This is a hat Carrie Fisher didn't wear, probably because she saw it and didn't show up at a press junket in Hong Kong. And a screen-used C-3PO costume hand from The Empire Strikes Back, and an unused one that was a gift from the fan club to a fan who won a contest. The hand is made of a very stiff vinyl, which has gotten stiffer over the years. And in Star Wars, where they used the same kind of hand, they had improved it by Jedi. Anthony Daniels had to move his fingers and pick up a comlink to talk to Luke in the trash compactor. And in order for him to move his fingers just even slightly, they had to shoot it with a hot air gun for a minute to give him a little flexibility, and then just put a whole bunch of sticky tape in his palm, so you don't actually see the pickup, but you see him holding it. So, yeah. And down here we have some pieces from Jedi. So these are swatches from the original sail barge, and when the production team disassembled the barge, they took care of the sail material, and some people kept it, and I eventually got it as a gift, actually. And then fans have gone down. This was shot down in San Diego County in Southern California near Yuma, Arizona. Fans have gone into the desert and have located the pit and go into it and look for little chunks of foam and wood from the set. So, like, this is like presumably part of a sarlacc or God only knows what. Here is some of Leia's costume from Jedi, and you'll notice it says Leia number 3. That's because for all of the key characters, they would make 3 to 6 costumes. So it would be much more expensive to have to stop filming than it would be to make extra costumes in case something got dirty, sweaty, tore, or whatever. And it says BH instead of Jedi because in the US, the film was mostly outdoor scenes in Southern California for Jawa and Northern California for Endor and the Ewoks, and so they had a secret name to try to keep the fans and the media away, and it was Blue Harvest, horror beyond imagination. But the Dodos used sort of the same kind of typeface as Empire Strikes Back and didn't fool anybody. And this little piece in the acrylic case is one of 10 known pieces to survive from the original Millennium Falcon. So they built a full-size Falcon for Empire. It was 60 feet in diameter, weighed 20 tons. And then reassembled part of it for Jedi, but it only shows up in a deleted scene, and then destroyed it completely because there were no more movies. It was heavy, and they didn't want to pay for storage. There was no reason. And so Anthony Daniels walked through the scrap heap. He picked up 10 pieces and put them in acrylic boxes and gave them names like reverse power flux coupling cover and charged ridiculous prices to stupid fans. But then again, there are only 10 of us who can say we have a piece of the original Falcon. So move over here a bit and look at the Darth Yoda poster. So this is a lenticular poster from the lobby of ProSieben, the Dutch network that showed episode 1 on free TV for the first time. The Zakuus mask is made by a really good friend of mine from Ireland, who I think is one of the top costume players in the world, a guy named Jules Checkley, who does Emin Darth Malgus in person. And Jules is now making masks on order for other people, so Zakuus was a gift from him. This is a piece that really sort of cemented my love for fan-made objects. So this won first prize in the Pinata category at the 2004 Mexico City convention, and I waited until the guy came back to claim it and get his certificate. And I said, I've never seen anything like this. I would love to buy it. Would you sell it to me? And he said, oh, I don't know how much I would charge you. And I thought, uh-oh. He said, only cost me $4 in supplies. And I said, but it is your skill and your time and your artistry. I'll give you $100. And his wife went, totally, take it! And so I put it in the book 1,000 Collectibles with his name and praised it, and he was so thrilled that for the Empire 30th anniversary, he sent me an amazing one, which you'll see later, that it just shows how his skill has improved vastly. The Chewbacca mask is one of the walk-around appearance masks from Walt Disney World from around 1999-2000. Here we have, this was the original Boba Fett that was, Donpo Studios did the mannequins as they did the Stormtrooper. This was the one that he brought to Lucasfilm for product approval and then brought it over here. This is a Mandalorian Mark, one of the guys in the costuming club in the UK, and he died in an accident, and they asked if I would accept his helmet for display at Rancho Obi-Wan. And I need to put his name on there, and I haven't gotten around to do it. Han and Carbonite, you can buy one today. This is about 20 years old. You can buy one today from Sideshow, only about $8,000.
I bought one. I bought one, and it was
in Australia.
I'll show you. Have you seen the crates that it comes in? It comes in 3 massive crates delivered to my front door.
Yeah, and there's giant pieces. What does the shipping cost?
Well, that's the thing. It was obviously imported locally. I paid 8,000 Australian, which was
probably actually got it cheaper.
Probably cheaper than the US.
Did
maybe.
When it very first.
When they first announced it, they were taking pre-orders.
No,
but it didn't go through Sideshow. I went through a local company who were going to import it. But when they got it, the dollar had gone, the American dollar had gone up by then, and now they're charging 9,000 plus.
Oh yeah,
so I got 8,000 Australian.
It's in my entry.
For you guys, it's probably about 6.5 or something.
Keeps the bad guys away.
But I was just comparing it,
great.
And you'll need to get one now. But
no, I'm not getting
the lights on the side, and the lights, and it actually looks like it's hovering.
Oh
because,
yeah, no, it's a brilliant piece, and they've got the side boxes.
Yeah, you've seen it.
Yeah. You're good. I'm good. There are limits. Here we have one of the largest pieces that exist of the Krayt dragon bone, and this was a recent gift actually from the guy in France who was the first guy to go down to the desert before. He did a lot of trips to Tunisia, and he sent back crates of the Krayt dragon bones. got there a little too late because he said, like a couple of days before, some German guys on four-wheelers deliberately crushed the head. They were just like, okay. So anyway, the Krayt Dragon Bones, these are really the first ties between Disney and Star Wars, because they were made, the fiberglass bones were made for one of the most famous and endearing and enduring Disney movies. One of our dinosaurs is missing. And then it was filmed in the UK, and they left it there. Well, do with it what you want. So the movie came out in '75. The production team from Lucasfilm was there in '76, and they see this room full of dinosaur bones. And they said, you know what, we've got room on the plane to Tunisia, let's take it with us, and maybe we can use it as some sort of prop in the background. So you just see it on screen very briefly. But of course, all the post stories, the Krayt Dragon has become, a big thing, like everything in Star Wars. And so this is, pretty amazing. That's reusing.
So is that Elusive Concepts? Is that the original?
Yes, that is the original from Elusive Concepts, and this was made in the U.S. as opposed to the ones made in Mexico. So the Wampa costume was also from the 2004 Mexican convention, and won first prize in the costume category. And the guy who made it was so proud that he wore it for the entire day. And when he took it off at the end of the day, he was streaked in black, which is the first time I realized it's lined with Mexican newspapers. So I bought it anyway. It was used in about 2 years ago in a Lucasfilm spoof online TV commercial that had some Jawas unrolling a bantha, one of the bantha rugs, the sleeping bags, and this guy just enters the screen. And so here's some following in the footsteps of other fans. I was on the sets of episode 1, 2, and 3 for about a week each, and leading fan magazine editors. And so I did not take a hatchet to Amidala's palace, but these pieces were on the ground, so I thought I was just sort of helping clean up. And I was in Sydney at the episode 3 creature department, and again, I'm such a neat freak. They were trimming a new Chewbacca costume, and this stuff was on the floor. So these are from the episode 1 art department. They show the scale to George of the foam core sets that they were making. And this is my proudest or stupidest moment, the last remains of Qui-Gon Jinn. So I was there when they burn a high temperature melting wax dummy of Qui-Gon. And so if they needed to redo the scene, the dummy wouldn't melt. But they used an actual Qui-Gon costume. And so the gas flames come up. George calls cut eventually. 2 guys come in with fire extinguishers. They put it out and carry the dummy out back. Set breaks about 5-10 minutes later, and everybody goes this way, except me. So I sort of, and there was no sign of the dummy, the guys, whatever. And I'm walking along, and there is this pile of mush, soaking wet from the fire extinguisher. And I bent down and managed to pull out these pieces, which were the only pieces that hadn't completely turned to ash. And so we've got pieces from the boots, the belt, there's a food pellet, and the only piece of Qui-Gon's cape that was left. And then I realized I had no bag or anything else to put it in. And so I was not about to give up my treasure. I stuck it in my jeans pocket, which immediately, of course, got very wet. And for the next 3 hours, people kept staring at me. And I know what they were thinking, but nobody had the guts to ask me. This is a piece of a battle droid, a sliced off battle droid backpack. The model shop built a bunch of the stuff to put on the floor of the feed hanger. Even though the battle droids were CG, it was a lot cheaper and easier to put actual pieces. And then this was made by the model shop too. So they actually didn't have any mobile battle droids. Everything was CG, but they needed to give the CG artists an idea of what the battle droids could do and how they could move. So this is an amazingly detailed piece of how all of the joints and the fingers and the elbows and the shoulder can move, so it's sort of like an artist's model. And down here